History isn't just written by the winners. Sometimes it's ghost-written by total lunatics. We're digging up 33 conspiracy theories from history so outlandishly absurd, you'll question everything. From ancient empires playing calendar games to modern-day airport mysteries, get ready for a tour of what humanity actually believed. This is historical WTF at its finest. Hit subscribe, or risk being replaced by your Illuminati-approved clone. 1. So, first on our list of historical head-scratchers, the phantom time hypothesis. Get this. Some dude in the 90s, Heribert Illig, decided that roughly 300 years of the early Middle Ages just never happened. Finito. Vanished. As in Charlemagne, the big man himself? Might as well be a figment of some monk's overactive imagination. The theory goes that a power-hungry emperor, a pope, and maybe a Byzantine buddy literally just cooked the books on the calendar, adding in 3 centuries like it was NBD, all to make themselves look more epic, or to hit some symbolic date. So, are we secretly living in the 1700s? Probably not, but can you imagine the audacity? Hey guys, let's just yoink 300 years. No one will notice. 2. Now, picture this. England, 1678. Total. Utter. Panic. Why? Because of the Popish Plot. This whole national freakout was basically the brainchild of one Titus Oates, a guy who sounds like he was cooked up in a con artist laboratory. This dude, with a resume that screamed unreliable, waltzes in and claims there's a gigantic Catholic conspiracy to bump off King Charles II and put his Catholic bro on the throne. And England. They didn't just believe him, they practically threw a parade for his paranoia. Jesuits with daggers, French invasion fleets, the works. Parliament lost its collective mind. Innocent folks were dragged off and executed based on Oates's increasingly bonkers evidence. It was like a national game of telephone played with dynamite. The whole thing eventually imploded, and Oates got his, but man, the damage done by one dude's epic BS is truly something else. 3. Ever seen a forgery so audacious it basically ran Europe for centuries? Say hello to the donation of Constantine. This was supposedly a decree from Emperor Constantine the Great, way back in the 4th century, gifting the Pope not just a nice villa, but like all of the Western Roman Empire. Here you go, Holy Father. Have Italy and everything west of it. My treat. For hundreds of years, popes were waving this thing around like it was gospel, justifying their land grabs, their political power, their "we're bigger than kings" attitude. It was the ultimate "because I said so," backed by a fake imperial signature. It took until the Renaissance for some smarty-pants scholar to finally call shenanigans and prove it was a total fake, probably cooked up centuries later. Imagine the sheer, unadulterated gall. That's a conspiracy with legs. 4. Okay, shift gears to something a bit more feathery. You ready for this? Birds. Aren't real. No, I'm not kidding. That pigeon judging you from the park bench? That seagull plotting to steal your fries? All government surveillance drones. This gem, which started as pure internet satire, but has somehow, bless its cotton socks, gained actual believers, claims the US government secretly offed all actual birds between 1959 and 1971. Then, in a move of pure, unadulterated genius, replaced them with tiny feathery robots to spy on everyone. They sit on power lines to recharge. Their poop is a tracking device. It's so beautifully, hilariously absurd. It's almost a work of art. You just know there's someone out there right now glaring suspiciously at a robin thinking, "I'm onto you, Sky Roomba." 5. Let's talk Hollow Earth. Not just, ooh, maybe there are some big caves. We're talking a full-on conspiracy where the Earth is basically a geological donut, and the powers that be are desperately trying to keep it a secret. Why? Because guess who's supposedly chilling in there? Lost civilizations, dinosaurs, and for the real tinfoil hat connoisseurs, Nazis. Yes, a popular version says Hitler and his cronies didn't die. They just relocated to their swanky subterranean condos, possibly powered by alien tech, planning their comeback. Or maybe it's the Illuminati down there, literally pulling strings from below. Entrances? Oh, just casually at the North and South Poles. The idea that your government knows there's a whole other world under your feet, possibly filled with angry lizard people or leftover Third Reich enthusiasts, and isn't telling you? Chef's kiss of paranoia. 6. The Priary of Sion. Thanks to the Da Vinci Code, everyone and their grandma has heard of this super-secret, super-ancient society. Founded in Jerusalem during the Crusades, their alleged job description was pretty simple. Protect the biggest secret in history, that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had kids, and their descendants are still kicking around, probably with really good hair. This priory, supposedly led by historical A-listers like Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton, because of course, has been yanking the world's chain from the shadows for centuries. Now, most historians will tell you the ancient bit is pure hooey, cooked up by a French dude in the 20th century who clearly had too much time on his hands. But the idea of it, a hidden bloodline, a truth that could shatter everything. It's conspiracy catnip, pure and simple. 7. Next up, Denver International Airport. Or, as the internet whispers, the future VIP lounge for the New World Order when the apocalypse hits. Seriously, this place is less an airport and more a collection of conspiracy theory starter kits. Built way over budget and way behind schedule, suspect. It's got these murals that look like they were painted by a demon having a very bad day. We're talking gas-masked soldiers in burning cities. Then there's Blucifer, a 32-foot horse statue with glowing red eyes that literally killed its own sculptor. You can't make this stuff up. Add in plaques dedicated to a non-existent New World Airport Commission and persistent rumors of miles of underground bunkers for the global elite. Yeah, just an airport doesn't quite cut it, does it? Someone, somewhere, is definitely planning something weird there. 8. Remember the 5th of November. The Gunpowder Plot. Guy Fawkes, barrels of gunpowder, big boom planned for Parliament. Standard history lesson, right? Wrong. Or at least, that's what a surprisingly persistent conspiracy theory will tell you. The idea that the whole thing was a setup. A dastardly scheme cooked up by King James I's top spook, Robert Cecil, Earl of Salisbury. Why would he do such a thing? Simple. To make English Catholics look like a bunch of murderous lunatics, pass a load of new anti-Catholic laws, and basically make himself look like a hero for uncovering the plot. Guy Fawkes and his buddies? Just poor saps, manipulated like puppets in a government-run horror show. A classic false flag operation, centuries before the term was even cool. Makes you wonder what else they were cooking up, doesn't it? 9. Ever heard of the Curse of Tippecanoe, also known as Tecumseh's Curse? Legend has it that after a nasty battle in 1811, a Native American leader cursed future U.S. presidents elected in a year ending in 0 to die in office. And for a while, it looked like someone was taking that curse very seriously. Harrison, Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley, Harding, FDR, Kennedy, all checked out ahead of schedule. Coincidence? Or, and hear me out, was this less a curse and more a highly effective super-secret presidential culling tradition? Maybe a shadowy cabal of curse enforcers decided this was a neat way to shake things up every 20 years. Perhaps they got a bit sloppy and Reagan survived, so they decided to retire that particular method of controlled chaos. All right, lads, the curse is off. Back to more conventional forms of global manipulation. 10. Let's talk about the Great New England Vampire Panic of the 19th century. When folks in rural New England started dropping like flies from tuberculosis, or consumption, as they called it, they didn't blame germs. Oh no, that would be too sensible. Their diagnosis: vampires. Recently deceased family members, apparently bored in the afterlife, were supposedly crawling out of their graves to feast on the living. Now, the conspiracy isn't that there was a secret vampire cabal, but rather a community-wide delusion that ignored actual medical science. Imagine the town meeting. Consumption's up again. Clearly, Great Aunt Mildred is thirsty. Who's got a shovel? They'd dig 'em up, perform gruesome rituals, all while actual doctors were probably face-palming in the next county. It's a testament to how far people will go to avoid admitting they just don't know what's going on. 11. Reptilian elite or lizard people. Brace yourselves. This theory, championed by folks like David Icke, suggests our world leaders, CEOs, and probably your weird neighbor are actually shape-shifting, blood-drinking reptilian humanoids from another dimension or star system. They're walking among us, looking disappointingly human, while secretly running the show, presumably because their home planet ran out of snacks or decent reality TV. Why are they doing it? World domination? Turning Earth into a giant terrarium? Maybe they just really hate Mondays. The best part is imagining these elite lizards trying to navigate a human world. Damn these fleshy fingers, I can't open the pickle jar. Activate claw protocol. It's a beautiful, scaly mess of a theory. 12. Who really built the pyramids? Stonehenge? Those giant stone heads that look permanently unimpressed? If you ask ancient astronaut theorists, it wasn't us mere mortals. It was aliens, obviously. Our ancestors were apparently too busy inventing the wheel, badly according to these guys, to stack giant rocks with pinpoint precision. So, E.T. and his buddies supposedly popped down, gave humanity a cosmic construction crew, maybe left behind a user manual for a death ray, and then pieced out. The real conspiracy? That big science and every government on Earth are desperately hiding this truth. Maybe they're worried we'd ask the aliens for a refund on some of their shoddier work. Or perhaps they're just embarrassed humanity needed extraterrestrial IKEA instructions. 13. The Man in the Iron Mask. This poor dude spent decades in French prisons, his face hidden behind a mask. Probably itchy velvet, not cool iron, but let's not ruin the aesthetic. The mystery wasn't just who is he, but whose secret is he keeping that's so explosive? Was he Louis XIV's more handsome, more competent older brother? A general who knew where the royal skeletons were buried, literally? The king's secret identical twin, locked away because the kingdom wasn't big enough for two such magnificent hairdos? The theories paint a picture of a royal family in full panic mode, running a top-secret conspiracy to keep one man's face, and his story, from ever seeing the light of day. Talk about a bad case of wrong place, wrong face. 14. Russia, early 17th century, the time of troubles. Tsarevich Dmitri, Ivan the Terrible's kid, dies. Or does he? Suddenly, like a bad magic trick, a Dmitri appears. Then another, and another. These false Dmitris weren't just playing dress-up. They rallied armies, won battles, and one even snagged the throne for a bit. The conspiracy theories were juicier than a bowl of borscht. Were they Polish secret agents trying to turn Russia into Poland's backyard? Jesuit super spies on a mission from the Pope? Or was one of them actually the real Dmitri, and the boyars were just conspiring to keep their own sticky fingers on the crown? It was a national game of guess who, with swords and a whole lot of dead imposters. 15. The Tanaka Memorial. Imagine finding a leaked document, a super-secret memo from Japan's prime minister to the emperor, casually outlining their step-by-step plan to conquer the world. First Manchuria, then China. Then we'll see about Tuesday. That was the Tanaka Memorial, which popped up in the 1920s. It was waved around as absolute proof that Japan was a nation of sneaky, Bond villain-level plotters. The problem? Most historians now reckon it was a total fake, probably cooked up by folks who really didn't like Japan. But for ages, people bought it. They pictured Japanese officials in smoky rooms, cackling over maps. Mwahaha, the world will be ours. It's the historical equivalent of finding a "my plan to rule the school" note from the Quiet Kid, except this one almost started actual wars. 16. The Anti-Masonic Hysteria in 19th century America. So, a guy named William Morgan threatened to spill the Freemasons' secret handshakes and decoder rings, and then poof, he vanished. Suddenly, America decided Masons weren't just a social club. They were a sinister, shadowy cabal running the country, controlling the banks, and presumably sacrificing goats in the White House basement. People were genuinely terrified. An entire political party, the Anti-Masonic Party, sprang up, basically running on a platform of "those guys with the aprons are up to no good." It just goes to show if your secret handshake is too secret, people will assume you're plotting to take over the world. Maybe stick to a fist bump. 17. The flat earth theory. Bless its heart. It's not just the charmingly quaint idea that we're living on a cosmic frisbee. No, the real juice is the conspiracy. According to modern flat earthers, every government, every scientist, every astronaut, every pilot, and probably your third-grade geography teacher are all in on a gigantic, mind-bogglingly complex plot to hide the truth. Why? Well, the reasons are a bit fuzzy. Control us. Hide more land? Keep us from finding the edge and falling off into a pit of space turtles? The dedication to believing that NASA fakes every photo and that all airline pilots are sworn to secrecy is, frankly, inspiring in its sheer defiance of, well, everything. 18. The stab in the back myth, or Dolchstoßlegende. After Germany lost World War I, some folks weren't too keen on blaming, the actual war. So they cooked up this beauty. The German army was undefeated, invincible. They were on the verge of glorious victory until they were betrayed, stabbed in the back by a shadowy conspiracy of politicians, socialists, and, you guessed it, Jewish people back home. It was the ultimate, it wasn't my fault, the dog ate my homework, and also a secret cabal sabotaged my war effort. Excuse? This toxic little fairy tale had absolutely zero basis in reality but became a rallying cry for extremists, and tragically, a key ingredient in the Nazi rise to power. Proof that the dumbest ideas can sometimes be the most dangerous. 19. The Affair of the Diamond Necklace, France, 1780s. Queen Marie Antoinette is about to get royally screwed, and she doesn't even know it. A con artist countess convinces a supremely gullible cardinal that the queen desperately wants this ridiculously expensive diamond necklace, but shh, it's a secret. The cardinal, eager to impress, gets the bling. The queen is like, new necklace? Who dis? Scandal erupts. The conspiracy theories flew thick and fast. Was Marie Antoinette a decadent mastermind, secretly pulling the strings? Or more deliciously, was the whole thing an elaborate plot by her enemies to drag her name through the mud so spectacularly that not even royal dry cleaners could save it? Either way, it was a PR train wreck that perfectly set the stage for let them eat cake and then have their heads chopped off. 20. Witches' Sabbaths and devil worship. Back in the day, people didn't just think old Bessie down the lane cursed their milk. They believed she was part of an international, highly organized, frequent flyer program to Satan's weekend retreats. These weren't just local witchy meetups. These were full-blown Sabbaths. Flying on broomsticks, or goats if you were fancy, kissing the devil's, other cheek, sacrificing babies, allegedly, and generally plotting the downfall of all that was good and holy. The Malleus Maleficarum, basically witch hunting for dummies, fanned the flames, convincing everyone that a vast underground network of devil worshippers was conspiring to ruin your crops and steal your soul. It was the ultimate, the call is coming from inside the house, and the house is run by Satanists, paranoia. 21. Roswell, 1947. Something fell out of the sky. The army said, flying disc. Then a few hours later, whoops, our bad, just a weather balloon. Nothing to see here, folks. And with that, the Roswell UFO conspiracy was born, still kicking and screaming today. The story? It was an alien spaceship, duh. And the US government snatched up the wreckage, maybe a few bewildered alien tourists, and has been hiding it all at Area 51 ever since. They're supposedly reverse engineering alien tech, making deals with little green men, and generally keeping the biggest secret in human history under wraps. Why? Maybe they don't want to cause mass panic. Or maybe the aliens demanded exclusive rights to Earth's reality TV shows in exchange for their silence. 22. The Blood Libel. This one is grim, folks. A truly hideous and ancient anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that claimed Jewish people murdered Christian children to use their blood in religious rituals, especially Passover. Let's be crystal clear. This is a disgusting, baseless lie that has been used for centuries to incite hatred and violence. The conspiracy here was the horrific belief that this wasn't just an isolated act of madness, but a secret, ongoing ritualistic practice by Jewish communities, a dark tradition hidden from the world. It's a chilling example of how the most absurd and hateful fictions can be weaponized to justify unimaginable cruelty. a historical stain that refuses to completely fade. 23. The Bavarian Illuminati. Remember them? Founded in 1776, aimed to promote reason and enlightenment, got shut down by the government a few years later. Boring, right? Wrong. According to conspiracy theorists, that was just their cover story. They faked their own demise, went super-duper underground, and have been secretly running the world ever since. Revolutions, Illuminati, wars, Illuminati. That time you couldn't find your keys? Probably Illuminati just messing with you. They're the ultimate puppet masters, the shadowy figures behind every major global event, presumably communicating via secret handshakes and really encrypted emails. The all-seeing eye on your dollar bill? That's their logo, obviously. They're so secret, even they sometimes forget who's in charge. 24. Water fluoridation. Good for your teeth, or a sinister government plot to turn us all into mindless, obedient sheep with unusually strong enamel. During the Cold War, this was a red-hot conspiracy. People were convinced that adding fluoride to the water supply wasn't about preventing cavities. It was a communist scheme to weaken America, or a government mind control experiment. Or maybe just a way to make us all slightly more susceptible to subliminal advertising for toothpaste. Despite scientists repeatedly saying, no, really, it's just for your teeth, the fear that they are drugging us through our taps has a surprisingly persistent, if slightly minty, aftertaste. 25. Subliminal messages. You're watching TV and suddenly you crave popcorn. You listen to a song backwards and hear, buy more albums, and also worship squirrels. Coincidence? Or are you being manipulated by sneaky, hidden messages designed to bypass your conscious brain and go straight for the behavioral jugular? The theory of subliminal messaging in ads, music, and movies has been around for ages. Corporations implanting buy signals, rock stars whispering satanic verses, politicians flashing, vote for me, so fast you only feel a vague sense of civic duty and a craving for bad coffee. While the science on its effectiveness is shakier than a Jenga tower in an earthquake, the idea that powerful forces are constantly trying to brainwash us on the sly is a conspiracy theory that just keeps replaying. 26. The Great Stock Exchange Fraud of 1814, London. A guy in a fancy uniform gallops in, yelling, "Napoleon's dead. The war's over. Free beer for everyone." Okay, maybe not the free beer part. Stocks go through the roof. Then, just as quickly, a select few sell everything, making a killing. And whoops, turns out Napoleon is still very much alive and probably quite annoyed. The market tanks. Many are ruined. Was it just a few clever tricksters? Or a sophisticated conspiracy by a cabal of financiers who knew exactly how to play the system, spreading fake news like it was the latest dance craze, all to line their already bulging pockets? It was basically the 19th century version of a crypto pump and dump scheme, but with more horses. 27. The Philadelphia Experiment. World War II. The US Navy is supposedly messing with super science, trying to make a destroyer, the USS Eldridge, invisible to radar. Or maybe just invisible, period. According to legend, they cranked up some giant electromagnetic doodad, and things went sideways. The ship allegedly vanished, teleported to Virginia and back, and when it reappeared, some of the crew were embedded in the steel of the ship. Others went mad. Some just dematerialized. The Navy, of course, says, "Nope, never happened. You've been reading too many comic books." But to believers, it's the ultimate proof of a government experiment gone catastrophically wrong, now covered up tighter than a submarine hatch in a hurricane. 28. The Moon Landing Hoax, 1969. Neil Armstrong takes one giant leap for mankind. Or did he just take one giant leap onto a dusty soundstage in Nevada, directed by Stanley Kubrick? Despite mountains of evidence, moon rocks, astronaut selfies, independent tracking, a dedicated bunch insists the Apollo moon landings were faked. Why? To win the space race, to distract from Vietnam because NASA lost the original footage and had to reshoot it badly. They point to evidence like a waving flag. It was crinkled. No stars. Cameras weren't set for them. Weird shadows. Blame the lunar dust. The idea that one of humanity's crowning achievements was a multi-billion-dollar lie is a conspiracy theory so audacious it almost deserves a slow clap from a safe, non-vacuum environment. 29. Pearl Harbor was allowed to happen. December 7, 1941, a surprise attack that plunged the US into World War II. Or was it? A persistent conspiracy theory claims that President Roosevelt and his inner circle knew the Japanese attack was coming, maybe even wanted it to happen, to get a reluctant America into the war. Proponents suggest US intelligence had cracked Japanese codes, that warnings were ignored, or that FDR deliberately provoked Japan. The idea is that thousands of American lives were sacrificed as pawns in a grand political chess game. While historians overwhelmingly debunk this, the thought of such a cold, calculated betrayal at the highest level is a conspiracy theory that still sends shivers down many spines. 30. The Great Replacement Theory. This one's a modern nasty, but it plays on age-old fears. It alleges a secret, deliberate plot by shadowy elites. Take your pick: globalists, liberals, George Soros on a Tuesday, to systematically replace white native populations in Western countries with non-white immigrants. The supposed goals? To destroy Western culture, create a compliant underclass, or just generally make things less beige. It's a racist, baseless theory that has unfortunately fueled real-world violence. It's a stark reminder that even the most absurd-sounding conspiracies can have terrifyingly real teeth, proving that dumb doesn't always mean harmless. 31. Shakespeare was a fraud. Was William Shakespeare, the glovemaker's son from Stratford, really the genius behind Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet? Or was Shakespeare just a convenient frontman for the real author? Maybe Sir Francis Bacon, who clearly had too much time on his hands, or Christopher Marlowe, who faked his own death to write plays in peace, or even Queen Elizabeth Narcers, because ruling England wasn't stressful enough. The Oxfordians champion Edward de Vere. The argument is that Will just didn't have the fancy education or aristocratic street cred to write such masterpieces. The conspiracy? That a powerful cabal, academics, descendants, maybe the ghosts of playwrights past, has been guarding this literary lie for centuries. It's the ultimate "who wrote it" mystery, with extra layers of secret handshakes and dusty manuscripts. 32. The Knights Templar secretly survive and control everything. These guys were the rock stars of the Crusades, warrior monks with tons of cash and cool forts. Then, in the 14th century, the King of France, who owed them a boatload of money, decided they were heretics and shut them down, brutally. But did they really vanish? Conspiracy theorists scream no way. They supposedly smuggled their treasure, and maybe the Holy Grail, because why not, to Scotland, went underground, and have been secretly running the world ever since. Banks, governments, your local coffee shop loyalty program, all Templar fronts. They're the ancient conspiracy gift that keeps on giving. The secret society that all other secret societies want to be when they grow up. 33. AIDS was man-made. When the AIDS epidemic hit in the 80s, fear and confusion were rampant. And where there's fear, conspiracy theories bloom. Instead of HIV evolving naturally from viruses in primates, the scientific consensus, a chilling theory emerged. AIDS was engineered in a lab. By whom? Take your pick. The CIA to target specific communities? The KGB as a bioweapon against the West? Big Pharma to create a disease they could then profit from treating? Some even blamed botched vaccine trials. Despite science thoroughly debunking these claims, the idea that such a devastating plague was deliberately unleashed upon humanity resonated deeply. It's a horrifying thought that someone, somewhere, decided to play God with a virus and in doing so, unleashed hell on Earth. A truly bleak what-if to end on. Well, that was a trip through the historical funhouse of They Thought What? From phantom centuries to reptilian overlords, humanity's ability to weave wild tales is truly unmatched. Now, for a real mind-bender. If you could implant one utterly ridiculous, completely fabricated conspiracy theory into a past society just to watch the chaos unfold, what would it be and why? Spill your evil genius in the comments. and hit subscribe. Or risk waking up in 300 fabricated calendar years with a pigeon drone watching you sleep.